Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? This is BC. Welcome back. If this is your first time coming to my channel, Bryan Casella is my name, 38 years old, currently in Miami, originally from Los Angeles, moved out here 3 years ago. If you're first coming here, this channel now is going to be 100% dedicated to my fitness and kind of lifestyle in regards to eating, diet, nutrition, and that kind of stuff. This video is going to come as a shock to many people. People who have been following me for a long time know that just about for 10 years now, I've been plant-based, followed, some of the vegan stuff, the alkaline, right? Huge shout out to them because this video is going to be long so someone can come and do the timestamps. I'm going to break down how it started, what led me to adopting a plant-based lifestyle, and then eventually, most recently, going pretty much carnivore, right? As an experiment. This video is not meant to bash or hate. This is simply a recollection of my experience and kind of what I've done. I have a ton of people that are friends and close colleagues of mine in the alkaline and plant-based community. Salute to them. We're still friends. I still support them. What they do and the work that they do is fantastic. And I thrived for many years on plant-based. I mean, go back and watch my videos from 2018, 17, 19, 20, 21. Can't deny. Flawless skin, looking good, lots of energy, right? You saw from the thumbnail, I'm ripped. I've always been ripped, whether I've been regular or whatever, because fitness has always been a big thing for me, right? But let's talk about it, all right? Back in 2014, 15, I'm younger. I'm just under 30 years old at that time. And I'm thinking, hey, you know what? I want to take my health to the next level. Always been ripped, but I'm really interested in longevity and improving my life, right? And taking it to that next level. Everything I do, like I tell people, I'm one intense mother sucker. Like I do everything to the fullest, right? So I said, let's do this thing. At the time, I'm doing pretty good, feeling good, right? I'm in real estate. I'm doing well. I just started like a year or two before, seeing momentum. I said, you know what, let's kick this thing up a notch. So I started doing some research and I come across the whole plant-based thing. I start picking up old encyclopedias and reading a bunch of material and educating myself on plants and diet and that kind of stuff, right? So initially, it wasn't because I came to some conclusion and said, oh man, it's all about plants and I want to save the animals. I know people have that argument. That's fine. I never shamed people for eating meat and whatever. This was more just, hey, I want to see if I can reach the epitome of health, because that's just the trajectory that I was on, right? So I end up experimenting it from literally one day to the other. I'm like, okay, I'm going plant-based, right? Vegan, whatever you want to call it, right? And right away, I was like, shit, everything has animal products in it, right? At that point, I pretty much cut everything out except for meat. I'd cut out like breads, pastas, dairy, right? Because most of my family's lactose intolerant. And I had really bad eczema when I was a kid. And it turns out it was from dairy, and processed stuff like grains and that kind of stuff, right? So basically, the last thing for me to kick out was meat, for me to fully pretty much go plant-based, right? And it's tough at first, right? But hey, I'm stubborn. I'm gonna figure it out. I do it. Now, I start noticing positive benefits right away, right? The inflammation, because I used to be an ex-professional athlete. I played basketball overseas. A lot of injuries, man. A lot of inflammation in my left ankle where I've had 2 surgeries. A lot of like little aches and pains. Those start going away right away, right? I noticed that I'm leaning out a little bit more, like almost losing like excess water weight. Right? I feel like mentally just super sharp, like amazing. Right. And I notice another thing. I've always been, easy to get dark. My dad is darker. Right. But I noticed, hey, since I've gone plant-based, it seems like my skin is receptive to the sun even more. Like I can go outside all day and not even come close to burning. I just get even darker and faster. So I feel like, hey, my skin is improving in regards to the sun, which makes me feel like, hey, I'm more in tune with nature now with this diet. So across the board, y'all, nothing but positive benefits. Like no stomach issues, no sickness, no nothing. Just absolutely across the board, 100% benefits. And, at the time, this is like 2014, 2015, it's not popular then. So of course I hear it. Oh, you're low testosterone. You're a soy boy, all the bullshit that people say. Right. And I've heard it on both sides. I never really got into that. I didn't care, nor do I really give a shit about people's opinions, but it is what it is. Right. I would hear it back then. So, I mean, life is good. I'm explaining it to people. I'm sharing stuff. I remember even dealing with like censorship because I would share teas that I'm drinking. And this is before the evil C word happened where I really got shunned off the internet. But, I would share like tea recipes with people and they were flagging me as like medical misinformation. You know how it goes, guys, with this whole censorship and deplatforming and all that stuff, right? It's just nonsense. But it even started back then in like 2018 and 19, a couple years into my journey. So, I'm not going to bore you here with everything, but pretty much, y'all, I start amazing results. I end up going more towards the alkaline years later. But for the first 3-4 years, pretty much plant-based. I had a little bit of processed stuff, but I try to stay away from it. I never really was a fan of the Beyond Meat and all that garbage because it's chemicals, right? And I didn't need to feel like, oh, I need to eat meat. I get it, right? They made that stuff in a way to help people transition, I think, because it's stuff that they're familiar with and it's not as extreme when you go that way. But look, if you're eating ice cream and cookies and cupcakes, if it's vegan or not, or plant-based or not, it's fucking terrible. So don't eat that shit anyway, right? I also noticed that my extreme sugar cravings go away, right? Because I used to be a extreme sugar addict. I would get the family size bag of M&Ms and in one sitting watching TV, I would eat them all. And that's like 4,000 calories and probably hundreds of grams of sugar. Just insane, right? Definitely almost like addictive when I would eat that stuff. But you find out later that those foods actually have chemicals, right? All these stuff in boxes and bags. They literally put chemicals in it that mess with your brain and the signals, and it literally makes you addicted. Like they say, sugar is more addictive than cocaine. It's crazy, right? So we're doing well. Then I go to the alkaline side, which is even more kind of extreme. You cut out a lot of stuff, a lot of starches, right? You don't eat potatoes. You don't eat hybrid vegetables. At that time, I'm kind of transitioning to almost to the point in 2021 when I moved from Los Angeles to Miami. And man, life is good. When I went alkaline, even more benefits, feeling super good. At the time, I'm boxing, doing a ton of stuff, and just cloud nine in regards to feeling good. At the time, I'm 2021. I'm like, my mid 30s, still dunking a basketball, even though I've had injuries, still doing well, still thriving, still boxing, still have really good wind, great cardio, looking good, ripped, right? Just living it up. I start growing out my hair, right? And if you see, my hair got really, really long, and I felt like my hair was growing faster and more healthy, right, on the plant-based diet. So fast forward, right? I moved to Miami. I'm alkaline now. And since I moved here, hey, it's more tropical. I'm getting access to new fruits and stuff. And I love it, right? Because I didn't have access to some of that stuff back in California, right, in Los Angeles. So life is good, right? I don't really start hitting problems, y'all, until I would say April, maybe March, April of 2023, right? I start getting on my patella tendons on my knees. I start getting itchy, and then I scratch, and it's almost like I start scabbing, and it's itchy, and it won't heal. So something's coming out of my skin, right? And shortly after, maybe a month after of dealing with that, I'm like, what the hell is going on, right? But I think whatever, right? Maybe I just came in contact with something. There's more humidity here. Maybe it's a fungus. I just need to wash more, right? So I'm being a little bit more thorough when I shower and that kind of stuff, right? Then it starts spreading. I start getting it on my shoulder blades. I start getting itchy on my back, my lower back, a little bit like on my shoulder. And I'm noticing I'm getting like, red kind of patches, on my back. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Right. And this is going on for months, and it's slowly getting worse and worse and worse. Right. Then I start getting some dryness around my elbows. Right. And it hit a point where I remember I would start getting extreme reactions. Like I would eat, like let's say I would have a fruit, soursop or watermelon, or I'd have a mango, and then like an hour or two later I would break out like on my neck or on my back, and it would itch really bad and burn, and then my skin would get hard. So I was like, oh man, it must be my lymphatic system must be struggling, like something's going on, right? I start getting dry skin, and basically I start having really bad skin issues. Shortly after, probably later on in 2023, I feel like my hair is like thinning, and keep in mind I've always had full thick hair. Like if you go back and look at the pictures when I had long hair, like great hairline, right? And even now I feel like in a short time it's already pretty much like grown back, but just it kind of got scary, right? I'm waking up in the middle of the night scratching, like I have like sores and scabs here on my right shoulder, and I'm just itchy. I can't sleep at night because I wake up with these itches. Like I'll go to sleep fine, and then I wake up 2 or 3 hours later and I'm just itchy on my neck and on my back and here on my arms, and it's crazy. And even the times that I would fall asleep, I'd wake up with like nail cuts on my arms because I was just scratching at night. So I'm having issues with my skin, basically. I'm so stubborn at the time, thinking I have the perfect diet. I changed everything except for my diet. I washed all my sheets extra, got a new detergent, right? I made sure I had all, cotton clothes with no polyester or nylon. I had a water filter going into my home. I had additional water filters on my sink and my shower heads, right? I mean, just the full nine. No chemicals, no aluminum deodorant. I mean, if you talk to people, they'll tell you, dude, BC Bryan was the most hardcore with this diet. No toxic chemicals, nothing, right? Because again, I'm so stubborn that in my mind, I'm like, dude, my diet is bulletproof. It has to be something in the air, the paint, my clothes, the detergent. It has to be something outside of it. Cannot be my diet. And keep in mind, I hadn't gone to the doctor in like 8 or 9 years, right? Because I'm feeling so good and there's no need. So again, I'm trimming a lot of the fat here, right? But eventually I start noticing, hey, when I'm eating, I'm getting these reactions. So obviously I'm thinking, okay, maybe my body can't metabolize sugar anymore. I'm eating too much fruit or whatever it is. So I've always been a proponent of fasting. I would start fasting because at the same time I noticed, man, I'm having gut issues, right? Like I'm having leaky gut kind of. I'm going to the bathroom too much. My stool is soft. Something is off. I'm having these reactions. My stomach is off, whatever. I start doing 1 day fast, 2 day fast, 3, 4 day fast. And I'm noticing, hey, when I do these fasts, my body fixes itself. But as soon as I start eating again, it comes back. Like I remember one time I did a 3 day fast. During day 3, I start having like, and this is after 2 days of no stool, right? The 3rd day I start having like very almost liquidy stool. Then later that day or the next day, I have one hard stool, and then it's like my skin is 100% back to normal. And I'm like, wow. So I'm pooping this stuff out. Crazy. Then I start eating, and within 12, 24 hours, again, the itching starts and my skin acts up. I'm like, what the hell is going on, man? This is weird. So initially I go to a doctor, more of a regular doctor, holistic doctor, right? And he's just like, and I tell him like, look, dude, I'm still stubborn, right? I'm plant-based. I don't want to change it. Here's my problems. He's like, dude, it has to be your gut. So he starts recommending a bunch of animal products. I'm like, dude, no, I'm not going to do it. I told you. So I basically scratched that, right? I'm still stubborn in my ways. I fast. I try to figure it out, but I'm like, it can't be the diet. Like it can't. So I hit a point where I'm like, you know what? Like I got to do something. For whatever reason, I've developed an issue, allergy towards something that I'm eating, even though I'm eating super clean. Maybe I'm eating too much fruit or whatever it is. So I reach out to one of my friends on Instagram. He recommends a functional medicine doctor in Atlanta. I fly out, I get a blood test, right? I kind of tell her what the issues are. And she tells me, you know what, just as an experiment, try something different. So I say, okay. I end up eating meat, right? Having some eggs. And I just, for like a day or two, completely cut out the plant-based stuff. It was difficult at first. There was a lot of shock mentally because, again, almost 10 years now without eating anything that was, egg, meat, or anything like that. And people are going to ask, how was the transition? Well, it wasn't hard. Like eating meat wasn't difficult. I didn't get sick. I didn't throw up. It felt wrong, right? Because I hadn't done it in so long. But, I noticed, hey, when I eat this stuff, I'm not getting reactions. Like I'm not getting reactions. And then it's like almost immediately too, my leaky gut or irritable bowel syndrome, whatever it is, I never got diagnosed, right? Just went away, right? I started going to the bathroom less, but it was more solid, right? So I'm like, this is interesting. So I go to the doctor in Atlanta, get my blood test, right? I'm waiting patiently 2 or 3 weeks, like desperate for a solution. It comes back. I'm allergic to blueberries, which I was literally eating like almost every day in my smoothies, right? With sea moss and all that stuff. I have a slight sensitivity towards like peanuts, which I didn't really have anyway. And some other stuff came up, right? But the main one was, it seemed like I had yeast overgrowth or some imbalance in my stomach. And then I had a very strong response to blueberries. So I cut that stuff out. And she also noticed that my B12, right? My B vitamins were pretty low, and also my omega-3s. And through my own research, if you're really low in omega-3 and the B vitamins, especially B12, you can really develop skin issues like I was. And I was like, oh, thankfully she said you have no autoimmune disorder, right? So I didn't develop anything like that. But it's crazy because from an athletics performance, a physique performance, I'm top notch, but I feel like, I didn't confirm this, but I felt like my hair was thinning and my skin was having issues. So at this point, I'm talking to the herbalist even before I go to the doctor. I'm like, hey guys, what do you think? And again, I love my friends and they're great and they've helped me with a ton of stuff, but nobody could quite put their finger on what my skin issue was. And that's why I ended up going to that functional medicine doctor in Atlanta, right? Dr. Curtis. Shout out to her. So I'm like, you know what? Again, I trimmed a lot of the fat on this story, y'all, but I say, you know what? Fuck it, right? Let me just go the exact opposite. Let me like only have meat and maybe eggs. So I start doing that. The second or third day, you know, I go online and search and, you know, I see all this carnivore stuff on YouTube. I only watch like 1 or 2 videos just to kind of see what they were saying. But I said, you know what, I'm going to try it. And so far, I'm like 2 weeks in, man, my skin itches way less. I was getting pale. I got the color of my skin back. I feel like if my hair was thinning, right, you know, like it's pretty much back now. I have a full head of hair, right? But I'm able to sleep again all night. Like it's crazy. I felt like the iris in my eye, right? I was losing all the lines and all the stuff. It seemed like my lymphatic system was clogged, and now it's starting to clear up again, and you can start seeing all the lines and details in my eyes. So I know for a fact I'm healing. So I'm not here to say, oh, you need to just eat meat. I'm just sharing my experience. And apparently something was missing when I was following a predominantly plant-based diet, and I lasted for a really long time, right? Almost 10 years, and I didn't have problems until like the 9th year. For now, I'm going to continue this carnivore diet. I'm primarily having like bison. I'll have a little bit of, you know, lean grass-fed like 80-20 beef. I have like 3 or 4 eggs a day that are hard boiled, and that's pretty much it. Like I don't really go more than that. I typically only have 1 meal a day, maybe 2, but I'm just keeping it real simple. And so far I'm healing. I'm doing well. You know, I can't say my physique has changed much or anything else, but my skin issues are going away. The itchiness is going away. And like a lot of the stuff that I had on my neck and my back is like completely gone. It's like 90-95% healed in 2 weeks. My gut is good again. So far I'm a fan, right? I guess we'll see. I'm going to go to the doctor once a year to do my blood work with that functional medicine doctor in Atlanta. I'll fly out and see her. So I guess we'll see, but so far so good. If you guys want to comment below and let me know kind of where you're at, what your thoughts, or you have any questions. This is going to be a surprise to a lot of people. It's just very recent, but it's just kind of what I'm doing now. And I had to do it because I literally left no stone unturned, and I felt like I couldn't do anything else. So we'll see. I don't know if I'll stay on this diet permanently, but for now it seems to be helping. But we'll probably get fully healed up, and then maybe I'll start reintroducing some things like avocados again and other stuff just to see what my body can handle and what it can't. But it's been interesting. This is all, again, just an experiment because I want to kind of reach that epitome of health. I still have a lot of love for people who are in the plant-based community. They help me a ton, and I still support a lot of my friends. I'm not like, no, you know, I'm part of a different camp now. I don't really care. This whole tribalism when it comes to the diets, I don't really give a shit. What I'm starting to learn is certain human beings are going to have differences in their diet. Maybe not huge differences, but some minute differences. You know, like I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do the caffeine thing, I don't do coffee, I don't do energy drinks. But for whatever reason, maybe certain fruits or whatever were messing with me, and the next person, it might not, right? Just like I know apparently I can eat meat and it's doing good for me, and other people, not so much, right? I have no idea. So this is a part of the learning process, right? So I'm open to hear what you guys have to say. I'm sure some people will be happy, some people will be upset, but let me know your thoughts and we'll open up the discussion. And I'm going to keep this 2.0 channel just for strictly calisthenics and workouts and the diet stuff too. All right. Have a good day, guys. Appreciate you watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll do more videos like this, and we'll see you in the future. All right. Peace.